Hello, hello, and welcome to the final chapter of our little course. So here we're going to finalize all of the steps, and hopefully by the end of this tutorial we're gonna have a working environment, a working game, which is very exciting. So without any further ado, there are several things that we need to do to make this work, and like the first one is the materials, right? We need to solve the materials. In the previous tutorial, I already showed you how you can unwrap your textures and how you can work with materials in Photoshop. And basically here, what we're going to be doing is incorporating that into your Unreal Engine 5 files. So first things first is all of the geometries that you had, you need to re-export them into into Unreal Engine. Or actually, let's do that a little bit later. For now, let's prepare what's called a material testing Excel file. I should actually delete this. Force delete. There we go. And we will be creating this Excel file so that it's easier for us to see if the materials that we attach are correct, right? So let's do that. In your, that is wrong, right there. In your project folders, you already have CMC to Unreal Engine Excel files, right? And these files are very, like they're used to construct in this case, the donut shape, right? So I'm going to create a custom file, which is going to be used to test out the materials on each element individually, because it's very hard to find let's say element number 10 or element type 10 in the donut. So let's do that. I will just open up this CMC to Unreal Engine, or actually let's make a copy of it. So I'm just gonna copy, paste. We have a copy now. I'm just gonna rename it material testing 1, whatever. You can just name it material testing, doesn't matter. Open it up and make some adjustments. So first of all, I'm going to delete everything that is below row number 2. So I'm just selecting here index 1, and I'll just drag all the way down here to the last row, select with the shift key. I select everything and hit delete. Once I hit delete, I only have the, the first row of our elements kind of showing. Then I need to create a second row that is kind of going to guide how we're going to be copying. And before I do that, I need to make a few adjustments to the coordinates. So I want the elements to be oriented, or to be stacked or placed in a row. Element number 1 is here, element number 2 is here, element number 3 is here, and so on. Or element type 1, type 2, type 3. So to do that, I'll just say that my X, Y, and Z location, or actually Z can be 2000, because I want them to stack, but also to be high up. So my X and Y start from being 0, but then with every element placed, I'm just going to add like a number to X. You'll see. And then I don't care about rotation, so I zero all of them out. So everything is literally 0. Then for the next row, I will just type in index 1, element index 1, because I want it to count through the elements. X location, let's go for 1100 or 1100 if you're American. Then Y is 0 Z is 2000, and rotations are 0. Okay, so now we have like a logic from which Excel can kind of build up the remaining like elements or remaining rows. So I just, holding down the shift key, I just selected, like I clicked here, holding the shift key, clicked here, selected all of this, and then just clicking and holding on this little rectangle here in the bottom right, I can drag it down up until probably here. Nope, not at all. Up until here to get all 14 elements. Because Excel is smart like that, right? It understands that if you're counting 0, 1, it's just gonna keep counting. And also it keeps counting in the, whatchamacallit, the X coordinates. It just keeps adding 1100 to them. But since I used 2000 and 2000 here, it just keeps saying 2000, which is nice. Anyway, this should give us all different types of elements between index 0 and 13, so from 1 until 14. And it should kind of keep moving them in X direction. Let's save this, close this, and let's just import this. So drag and drop it into your main folder where your blueprints are. Of course, we choose the same data type, CMC2 UE struct, apply, and now it's here. How do we use it? Well, that has something to do with the blueprint, with the element blueprint. I double click that to enter it, and then under the construction script here, I will just change get data table row names to material testing 1 and get data blah blah. Well, this one. I changed this one also to material testing 1. There we go. We save, or we compile, we save, we look at it. Beautiful. Exactly what I want to see. Right? Stacking every 1100 centimeters. Okay, so we have that going on for us. Now it's time to work on the textures, right? Work on the materials. So I've done a live stream where I went through all of it, troubleshooted it, fixed the bugs and so on. So if you're curious to have a more in-depth knowledge about the process, definitely check out that live stream. It's like 6 hours long though, be warned, but you can, I mean, usually I watch those kind of things in 2 times speed. You can change the speed on YouTube, so 3 hours, like Lord of the Rings, right? Anyway, that's fun. Let's take a look at our Photoshop file for the textures real quick. So I'm going to show you, oh, I need to yoink myself here. I'm going to show you element 10, right? So basically my Photoshop file has 14 groups, each representing one element. And in each of these groups, I have 3 layers, always 3 layers. So let me turn on the background. This is just black background. And let me show you the first layer. That's the unwrap, right? Those are the islands. And I just made them white by using Ctrl-I to invert it. Invert the layer, invert the colors. So those are the islands. Now I know where things are, right? Then the second layer is actually alpha, the alpha channel. And it's basically these strips where I say that, okay, if everything is one material, where these strips are, or rather islands that these strips cover, will have a different material. And I'll be able to choose what kind of material we have in Unreal Engine, so that's fine, right? So that's the second one. And third one is stencils, right? So additional kind of crap, additional stuff that is added to on top of the geometry. So we have that. While I work, I usually work in 8K or 4K resolution, but I really would suggest saving everything in 4K because 8K will just destroy your computers. So 4K should be good enough. Anyway, so the way you then need to save this, right? You need to save these layers, and the way you do is you save the alpha channel or the alpha layer of element, let's say 10, as a JPEG image like this, right? Black background, white color, easy. And then for the stencil, it's different. For the stencil, you save it without the background, without anything actually, only the stencil. And you can't save it as JPEG because that won't work. JPEG, like a file type, it doesn't have enough information that can't contain information of transparency. So you need to use PNG or EXR, but use PNG. Just use PNG. I know the school's computers, they're going to complain if you use EXR. So basically, once you've done all of this, right, and you've saved all of the files, you will have folder system like that. Element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, and in each folder you will have 2 files. Let me open up element 10. The alpha channel, like that. And the stencil, like that. And the stencil shows in iframe view as having a black background. It actually doesn't have the black background. It doesn't have a background at all. You can see it kind of here, right? Because it's a PNG. So basically every folder has two files, the alpha channel and the stencil. Easy. And their resolution is 4K, 4096 by 4096. Very important. Okay, so we have that. Now it's time to actually get these bad boys in here, right? And I'm talking about these 14 folders. So let's go back to our consider subscribing file. And let's just create a folder sequence or create two folders in our file project that the name is project. So under just content folder, I will right click and choose to create a new folder and call it materials. This is where my materials are gonna be. Double click to access it, right click, new folder, textures. Textures and materials are not two, it's not the same thing. Two separate things, right? Textures are 2D images. Materials are like shaders. They are like, they contain much more information. They contain how the images are used. Is it a bump map? Is it an emissive map, and so on? So material is a much more complex thing than a shade, than a texture, right? So that's a very important distinction. Also, I see that I'm a little bit loud. Sorry. Let me kill my testing. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna kill my voice a little bit. Right. So inside of our textures folder, I'm just going to select all of the 14 folders that I have here for textures, and I'll just drag and drop them in. Easy as that. And we'll talk about the normal map in a second, but not right now. I only care about the 14 folders right here. And it's doing it slowly. There we go. Once it's done that, I will probably get, yeah, there we go, texture streaming pool over budget, don't worry about that. This is something that we will indeed fix in a little while. For now, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. So now you can see that we have 14 folders here. And basically to access the images in the folders, I need to double click and, you know, I have my element 2 folder and element 6 folder and so on. To get all of the images, it's a very nice little trick that I recently learned, is you holding down the shift key, if you select all of the 14 folders, you will get all of the files that are inside of those 14 folders. Very useful. Anyhow, what next? What next? What next? Next, we need, like, these are all kind of textures that are used to either attach on top of some sort of material, like a stencil, right? Or they're used as alpha channels to mix two materials materials or two textures together. But they're not, we don't have concrete here, for instance, right? I need concrete. How do we get concrete? Well, glad you asked. 2 ways. First way is texturehaven.com or something like that. Let me see. Now they're called Polyhaven. Yeah, there we go. Polyhaven. You go for concrete, plaster concrete, bam, kablamo, and you just find, you know, concrete that you want, and here you can just download it and you can choose what kind of a resolution you want. I would suggest 2K, not more than 2K. Probably 1K, honestly. It really depends on what kind of a computer you have, but let's just see 2K. And is there like anything else that we can change? Well, the only thing that here that you might need to change is under settings here, where it says material map standard. There's DirectX and GL, OpenGL. So if you're using Unity, you use OpenGL. If you're using Unreal Engine, you use DirectX, right? So you need to switch that to DirectX, and then you just click download and it just will get you all of the maps. Anyway, and then you need to drag and drop in the maps, of course. But that's the pleb way of doing it. The cool kids these days use Quixel Megascans, and that is, you can access that by clicking here, going to Quixel Bridge right here, and under, well, you might need to register, right, or log in, so do that, it's free. And then under surfaces, these are like really good materials that you get for free. I really, really like that. So we will find ourselves a tiny bit of concrete. And I have downloaded one, so let me just find where the hell it is. Okay. There's way too many. I'm lost. There it is. Broken concrete flooring, but you can just get any one of these. So once you select it, you need to download it. But before you do, this is basically the size of the texture in real world. Well, duh. And it's, you know, a tileable texture, and it kind of shows you how it's gonna look like and how the displacement looks and so on. So it's all nice. I like it. And then you choose the quality. So here I'll just go for medium. You might need to choose low quality as well. What's that? I've never used that. Nope. We are not going that deep. So medium quality. and then you download it, and then you add it. That's it. You can see it was added right, well, let me close that. It was added right here. Easy. 3 textures. I'm just gonna use 2 because the yellow one is freaking me out. I have no idea how to use it. So we're just gonna use yeah, that and that. You technically could just use the concrete map as well, like that. Just drag and drop it in, and it should work quite nicely. Because here you can also change. Yeah, here you can also change the tiling of it. Let's say 10 by 10. Let's make this a bit smaller. Come on. You know, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but we don't really care about it as a material. We only care about its texture, so I'm not gonna use that, and instead we're just gonna where's my old material? Let's just go for shiny paint blue here for a bit. All right. So now back to material creation, right? For these elements. Now I actually have all of the necessary components to build the material, and we're gonna do that. So under materials, right here, I'm just gonna create a new material. Right click and choose material. Easy. And I'll just call it element master. I'll explain why it's master in just a second, but for now let's just call it element master. We double click it and we will get this grasshopper looking thing, right? Let's just anchor it here. So we will get this grasshopper looking thing where we can add nodes, and that's basically how you work with materials here. I don't remember if I showed you this in the previous tutorials. If I haven't, that doesn't really matter. Now is the time when we are going to actually be hitting it pretty hard with additional kind of functionality, right? So it's time for us to use to basically mix and match, start mix and matching things, right? So the first things the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to get the texture in here. How is it called? Like the concrete texture in it, right? So I'm just going to double click, or not double click, I lied, right click, and I'll just type in texture sample parameter 2D. Don't worry about it, it's just the name of it, texture sample parameter 2D, and I'll just call it base or base diffuse. Base diffuse, right? And here, when I select this, you can see that, can you see? Wait, where's my recording? Yeah, you can. So when I select this, you can see that here I can change the base diffuse texture, right? So instead of default texture, I will just find where my concrete is. So I can just drag this out, go back to my main viewport, like that. Let's now fish out where our mega scans, surfaces, broken concrete, and there we go. This is the floor that I want to add here. So how do you do that? Well, you just drag and drop it in here. Easy. Or you could also just write concrete and then, you know, select from here, but drag and dropping is more fun. So we do it this way. like that. All right, so we have now a texture right here that I can directly just plug into my base color. You know, and it kind of works, it looks fine, but the problem is that I have no possible way of how to change the tiling of it. I am unable to make this bigger or smaller, so I need to fix that. And the way you fix it is by multiplying, oh, sorry about that, is by multiplying the UVs, right? So I'm just going to say, give me a texture coordinate from any object on which the material is going to be located. It's going to grab its texture coordinates, right? And immediately here you can see the tiling 1 and 1. No, we're going to use more than that. So how do you use more than that? Well, you just drag out from here, you see multiply, and you just multiply it by a number. And the number is called param or scalar. I believe it's scalar. Scalar param. Scalar parameter. Right? Scalar param, and we will call this texture scale, like that. Rename this to texture scale, and then we need to change here the default value should be 1, the minimum value should be, let's say, 0.1, and the maximum value should be like, I don't know, like 25. Maybe. Basically, how many times do you want to repeat this? Maybe even more. Let's say 50. Yeah, 50. Like that. 1, 0, 1, 50. Great. And I'll just take this multiplication and slap it into my UVs. Right here. So now, look at this this concrete ball here. If I, why did I drag this out? If I were to select my texture scale here and I were to change the default value to 10, now the texture is repeated 10 times. If I change this to 50, now it's repeated 50 times. If I change this to 0.1, it's repeated 1/10 of a time, so it's scaled up, right? So let's keep it as 1 for now, but now we have the flexibility to make it smaller or bigger, which is nice. All right, so we have that. We should probably use the same thing for normals, right? So Unreal Engine doesn't really use bump maps that much. It kind of has the possibility to do displacement, but it's heavy and we don't really need it. So I'm just going to use normals, the normal map here. And to use normals, well, we need to do the param2d again. So we're just gonna say, wait, what's the name of it? By the way, you can check the descriptions by selecting the nodes and clicking Ctrl-Alt, or rather holding Ctrl-Alt. Texture sample parameter 2D. Okay. Texture sample parameter 2D. I'll just call this normal, base, or base normal. Base normal. Of course, it needs to use exactly the same UVs as our other normal. What? It needs to use the exact same UVs as our concrete texture. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Jesus Christ. So we connect it this way. And this one, this texture right here is not going to be like a typical image, right? It's going to be a normal map. And a normal map is, well, first of all, we need to drag it in. So the normal maps are always the perpy boys. So I'm just going to grab this and just drag it in here to base normal, like that. Right? So now you can't really see anything change because this is not hooked up, and I still need to make a few changes to make it work. But basically, after you've dragged in the normal map, the sampler type should say normal. If it doesn't, you need to make it say normal. That's keep an eye out for that. Very important. Okay, so once you've done that, then you need to somehow describe the strength of the normal, because you're kind of dealing with it as a bump map, right? So you need the strength for it. And the way you do this is by using, let's just drag it out here and let's just say normal strength. What does VS stand for? Well, we'll see. Custom expression, VS, material function. I'm not sure if I want to deal with this. Maybe it's fine. It seems like it's fine. Well, let's see if there's just a normal one. Normal strength. No, it's just VS. That is weird. Sure, let's use it. What's the worst that can happen in a live tutorial, right? Oh boy. Anyway, for our normal map, we just plug in the RGB value to it, and for our strength, we will use the scalar, the parameter scalar map, or scalar parameter. Scalar parameter, and I'll just call it normal. Let's just say base normal str strength, and just connect it like that. So the normal strength usually goes somewhere between 0 and 1, but just to get a little bit more flexibility, I'll select this and say the default value should be 1, minimum should be 0, maximum should be 2. So that we have like a little bit more of a breathing room here, and the result I just connect to normal. Yeah, you can kind of see it, right? The bumpiness on the side. I really hope the YouTube compression doesn't destroy this, but yeah, there is definite bumpiness now to the material. Like, it looks a little bit more natural, which I like. Is there like a... Oh, we found a bug. Wonderful, wonderful. Yep. Now it's gonna be freaking out. That's fine. That's fine. Unreal Engine 5 is still a little bit on the buggy side in terms of the material previews and the texture streaming and so on. If something really starts messing up, just restart Unreal. Usually fixes it. I will be restarting pretty soon, so I'm not gonna be fixing it right now. Or actually, can we just save element master? Maybe that's gonna fix it. Nope, didn't fix it. Anyway, that doesn't matter really. Now we have like a base material here done, and even though it looks the way it does, it actually works. So I kind of want to mess around with it a bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the roughness, didn't I? Yeah, we need to do the roughness of this. So the roughness is again a parameter or scalar parameter. It's a number, right? It's between 0 and 1. So I'll just drag out. Oops, not from specular, from the roughness. I'll just drag out a wire from here and just call it scalar parameter. Base roughness, like that. And I'll just change, say the default value is 0.5 and the slider minimum is 0 and slider maximum is 1. And I really don't like that I can't see anything here. So I'm just going to pause the video and I'm just gonna restart Unreal Engine because it's bugging me. So give me a second. We are back. We're back here. So I just restarted it and it works as expected. As expected. So now let's continue. I guess let's just continue. We have our base material done. I need to add, let's say, metal bits. How do you explain this? So now, well, we did it in V-Ray, right? Where we had like the base color or base material, and then on top of it we added the emissive material. So I'll do the same thing, only that I'll add the metal material on top with the alpha channel. So we need yet another one. How are those things called? Texture sample parameter 2D. Texture sample parameter 2D, like that, and I'll just call it alpha. Alpha texture, right? And from here I'll just borrow, let's say element 1 alpha texture, which is for some reason I call it emissive. Sure, whatever. I'll just drag and drop it in here, and now we have the alpha texture kind of working here, right? Linked to this. The UVs for it are unnecessary because they are it's not going to be tiled, it's just going to be used directly, like it's tied to the mesh, right? So it's going to be directly used with the mesh. And at this point I believe that it would be beneficial if we actually saw it on the mesh. So we're gonna slap it onto our element type 1 because I'm using the alpha channel for it, right? So I'll edit the blueprint, and wherever I have element type 1, where is it? There it is. I'll just change its material. You can see the material here. I'll change its material from shiny paint to master, element master. There we go, to this one, right? Then I compile, I save, I close, and I can see that it doesn't work at all. All right, so this is actually an issue that I found when working with Rhino. And that issue was that when Rhino exports OBJ files, it actually messes up the UVs of the OBJ files. So let me try and explain this for a second. So let's put a small little pin in our element master. Would you like to apply the changes? Or actually we can just kind of drag you in here and open you again later. So a small little pin there, and let's talk about this issue, because this is a bug and this is something that is quite annoying to deal with, but we do need to deal with it. So if I go to my stuff elements, here I have all of my 14 elements lined up, and these are obj files, right? So if I open this up, right, and I look at its UVs for channel 0, you can see that there's nothing here. So nothing got exported. Who fucking raw? I mean, it's horrible. We spent so much time unwrapping it and then working with it, and it didn't get exported. And the way I fixed it, by the way, also in the live stream, I don't know at which hour time it happened, but I figured out that if we just use FBX format rather than OBJ for exporting, everything is gonna work, right? So I just used FBX instead. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna select all of these elements and just kill them, delete, force delete, just completely destroy them. Glossy, shiny paint blue, don't care, delete, force delete. My elements are now completely empty, and I can just take all of the 14 elements that I have here, drag and drop them in, just like that, say that it should build nanite, generate missing collision, yeah, sure, should generate missing collisions. I mean, all of these are... Give me a second. Like, all of these seem to be a-okay in terms of orientation and whatnot, but I need to double check. So maybe I was too fast with deleting them. Let's undo. Is it possible to undo though? No, it's impossible. Okay, undo history. No history to undo. Okay, sure. We just test it out then. Drag and drop in and just import it with regular settings, except for import rotation. That needs to be set to 90, to 90 degrees. Import all. There we go. Let's just wait for it to get imported. And I'll just double check if once they get imported, I'll just double check if we still need to rotate 90 degrees or if FBX actually fixes it. Because I don't remember this part. I'm sorry if we will need to import it again. That's my bad. Oh, no moving group information, that's fine. Can just close that. Open up the 01 file. Oh boy. Yeah, so that doesn't look nice. That doesn't look correct at all. Okay, my apologies then. We need to kill these. Delete. Yep, force delete. And we import all of these again. Great tutorial, doing just fine. Import them again, and this time import rotation just 0. Don't need. don't need anything else, just 0. Import all, and we wait a little bit more. Hopefully it's gonna import a little bit faster, but probably not. So once we're done with this, we will be able to actually see the textures, and we will kind of evade the bug that Rhino has. It's something about texturing in Rhino that it's like every part of Rhino works really well, I think, but every time I need to do any texture work with Rhino, is just such a pain in the ass. I really hope that they fix it, and well, in near future, hopefully. Anyway, if you want to see the full struggle with this, again, the live stream, scrub through it and you'll see it. I'll probably add the link to the video description as well. There we go. Clear. Let's watch it. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. And let's look at the UVs, and now you can see the UVs actually are happening, right? They're actually here. So happy. Okay, so that is done. We will need to do a few more things with these, but they seem to at least work. Now our element blueprint, which is either located here or you can access it through here, our blueprint is freaking out because we just deleted all of the elements from it, right? So we need to access it, and here we need to relink the static meshes, right? So the way you do this is there a fast way? Nah, let's just do it the old-fashioned long way around. You select 0, 1 here. You go in here, static mesh, drop down list, 0, 1. 0, 2 here, static mesh, 0, 2. 0, 3 with, you guessed it, 0, 3, and so on, right? You relink the messed up meshes. Hopefully you won't need to do this anymore, because once these are linked and once we don't change the from OBJ to FBX 07. Once we don't change from OBJ to FBX anymore, it should be real time, right? So you make change, you save it, you open it up, and just kind of gets immediately updated in Unreal Engine. So this is not this does not showcase the workflow that you will have once everything is set up, is what I'm trying to say. 11, it's just that the setup part takes a while. 12, 13, and last but not least, Mr. 14. There we go. Let's compile this bad boy. Let's save this bad boy. Let's look at the map, and oh boy. Yeah, now it works. And you can actually see, let's make this bigger. There we go. You can see that the texture is not great, right? It's let's just say it could be a little bit more dense. So if I go to element master, right, to my material here, and I say where texture scale, if I say that the default value is actually 5, it was 1, now it's 5. I hit save, and I look at it now it's actually not that bad. It's actually a pretty boy, isn't it? So you can do, you know, you can work with this. Sorry, I'm just always, I always get giddy when I see it work. It's just nice. Okay, let's go back in here and let's play around with the alpha channel, because I need to use this to slap on the metal on top of my concrete, right? So how do you do I'm getting tired. We'll need to take a break, but let's just do this. Let's just do this real quick, and then I'll take a break. So how do you do that? Well, do we do metal first or do we do stencils first? Maybe metal first, right? Well, thankfully, there is this input here that's called metallic. Yeah, so we're gonna use that. And the way metallic works is basically if I have a, let me just create a scalar parameter, or can we just do scalar? Well, let's just do scalar parameter, whatever. And I'll just connect it to metallic. And if I change the default value to 1, it should be metallic, but it's not. Why is it not? Why or are you metallic? You might be. You should be more metallic. 10? No, you don't care about 10. Okay, fine. So that makes you metallic. Okay, we will, let's skip this. We will come back to this in like 2 minutes. Let's spend two more minutes working with the colors, right? Because I feel like the concrete color overrides, not overrides, but it takes away from the metallicness, and you still read it as concrete visually, but it's actually, it becomes metal. Doesn't matter. Let's first of all use this texture, alpha texture, to add areas that are just gray color, right, on top of this. So to do that, we will just create a, let's create a constant 3 vector, which can be a color, right? Constant 3 vector, I select it. I'll just here click on the black bar and then choose, you know, whatever, this kind of color, something like that. It's fine. And then we want to basically use linear interpolation between the two, between this and this. And linear interpolation is basically use a mask to slap on one object on or one texture onto the other. So linear interpolation is called LERP, L-E-R-P. And here in the bottom under utility, you see linear interpolate, right? Like that. And I can just use RGB here and the gray color as my B input and look at the base color with the LERP. But then you'll see like it becomes 50-50, right? A 50% overlay. But if I use my alpha channel, like my RGB from the alpha channel, as my alpha channel, then only areas of this will be colored gray. And those areas are where my alpha channel is, right? Where my alpha channel is white, basically. I hit save. I look at the applying changes, of course. Give it a second. There we go. I look at it. And now it's painted gray exactly where I want it to be. Well, let's make it not gray. Let's make it like brown. Just so that you can see better what I mean. And the what's the name? Normal map is still slapped on top of this, so of course it still has the divots, but this is how it looks like. Cool, huh? Okay, let's make this into actually, I really like how this looks, even without being metallic, but let's make it metallic. So here in the material, for the metallic color, we also need to use lerp, right? So I will be creating a lerp, linear interpolate, there we go. And I will say that, well, you should use the same alpha channel, right? And then I will use two numbers between the, for A and for B. A is my concrete and B is my red paint. So my red paint needs to be fully metallic while my concrete is not metallic at all. So I'm just gonna say 0, no wait, I can't just write it here. I need to say scalar, scalar parameter connected to B. Let's rename this as metal. Yeah, let's just say metal, and default value needs to be 1. Is there like a sorry, is there like a constant? There is a constant. Okay. Sorry, so let's not use scalar parameter. Let me just show it to you better. Right click and type in constant. Just regular constant. This is just gonna be a single number. It's small, so we use it. And I'll just have two of them. One, Control C, Control V to get the other, and the second one is gonna be 1. So 1 is 0 and 1 is 1. So concrete will have metalness of 0, while metal is of course gonna have metalness, or red metal is gonna have metalness of 1. And I connect that to my metallic input. And this is how it looks like right now. Cool, huh? So we have that. We have that. Then, then we need to do the same thing with, oh my god, this is getting a little bit tricky. We need to do the same thing with roughness. We can't just have same roughness for the whole material, the whole object. It needs to change. So this needs to be rougher than this, right? So this won't work, right? So I need to, actually I'm gonna use it, but I'm gonna, holding down the control key, I just disconnected it from roughness. I'm just gonna make a copy of this, Control C, Control V, and for base, so this is base roughness, and this is gonna be metal roughness, right? And here I'll be able to change the values as I please, like that. Great. Guess what we need again? Yet another lerp. Linear interpolate. Base goes to A, metal goes to B, alpha. Well, we do have one alpha. It goes here. There we go. Easy as that. And connect that to roughness. So now, if I say that my base roughness is actually, let's say my base roughness is actually 0.1. No, wait, it needs to be, no, it needs to be other way around. So my base roughness needs to be 1 or 0.9, like that. And my metal roughness needs to be 0.1. Hell yeah. Now we're cooking. Let's hit save. Let's take a look at how the object will, or the element will look like. Nice. Yep. Doesn't look that bad. Of course, the normal map is all messed up, but we will fix the normal map actually right now. Let's fix the normal map right now. We need we have one normal map for the concrete, and we're using the same one for the, like, we're just using the one normal map for the full object. So I'm just gonna say, yo, can I just copy and paste you and just say, instead you're gonna be called not base normal but metal normal, metal normal. And for this, I need a normal map of brushed metal. This is where we go back to the textures. And remember when I said that we need like the metal normal map? That's why. How did I get this? I got it from texturehaven.com. No, I didn't. It's called different now. Don't remember. Polyhaven. I got it from polyhaven.com. Textures, metal. I think it was rusty metal. This one. Yeah, I think it was this one. And then here I just expanded it because I only cared about the normal map. I made sure that direct access, my active one, and I made sure that the texture is like 2K or even 1K. We don't need it to be fancy. And I just downloaded the JPEG. That's it. And of course, then you just have it here. You drag it in to your, where's my textures? My stuff, materials, textures, there we go. I'll just drag and drop it in here. Easy, metal normal. And also I will, come on, drag out like that. And I will just use it as my normal map. Can't use it there, need to drag it right here. There we go. Metal, normal. All right, so now we have two normals, right? And I kind of need to also have two different strengths for two normal maps. And or maybe I don't. Maybe I use one strength because it gets a little bit convoluted with two. Do I use two? It gets convoluted, but also it kind of gives me a lot of flexibility. So let's use two. So I'm just gonna copy paste, connect, and this one I'll rename from base normal to metal normal strength, right? Like that. And I'll honestly immediately just change the default value to 0.5, like less. And now we need, you guessed it, to use lerp to interpolate between this map and this map with the alpha channel that we have. Connect that to normal. And now you can see two different normal maps here. You can see that the tiling for this one is all messed up, and that's because I'm not using UVs here. I need to. But I can't just use the same UVs because I might need to be able to change the, not intensity, what's the name of it? Tiling, how often it tiles, and to change it separately from the concrete. So I'm just gonna, should I just copy all of it? No, I'm just gonna copy multiply and the texture scale like that, and I'll take the texture coordinates and multiply them again, but with I'm just gonna say normal texture scale like that. Connect that to UVs. and change the default value to probably a little bit denser, honestly. Yeah, should be denser. Let's go for 25. Something like that. Yeah, that looks okay. And let's change the strength to 1. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay. So basically we have a bunch of like separate options which we can change here. Almost there, almost there. Bear with me. We're almost there. The boring stuff is almost finished. We still need to deal with the stencils, but that's gonna be fast. All right, back to our little YouTube map. Here, this is now how it looks like. Not too shabby. The texture scale is way off. Actually, for all of this, it's way off. But that's fine. We will be able to fine-tune it later. Not right now. Let's add the stencils. Finally. I wanted to do this for for a while now. So to be able to add the stencils, I need well, first of all, I need them to be referenced in here. So I'm just gonna copy paste my base diffuse. Let's say parameter, and I'm just gonna param2d, and I'll just rename this to stencils. Not even stencils, it can be like dirt and grime layer on top, but I'll just call it stencils for now, right? They won't have UVs because it's custom made for every single object, so we don't need UVs. And they will, okay, we need to get one in here to actually see what kind of sampler type and so on we need to use. So stencils, let's get one in here. Which one? We're dealing with element 1, so I'm just actually going to, from here, I'll just type in L1. Nope, not like that. It should be like that, shouldn't it? How the hell am I naming them? 0, 1. Gotcha. 0, 1. Well, that's yeah, there we go. 0, 1 stencil. Perfect. And I actually can show you it how it reads immediately, right? RGB. I'll just show you as a base color. This is how it looks like. Wonderful, isn't it? Completely like weird stuff. It doesn't make any sense. But then if I look at the alpha channel of it, it starts making a little bit more sense, right? This is its alpha. And that is why we use PNG, to get that information. JPEG doesn't have that, right? So we have these two. Let's connect this back to the base color so that we don't forget. And to basically, what we need to do is cut this out, like cut out the image, cut out the letters from the image with the alpha channel. That's the cleanest explanation that I can give you. So we will use lerp because I mean, at this point you probably understand that I just know the command lerp and I'm gonna use it to its fullest. We're gonna use lerp, and for that I need to use the alpha channel of my stencils as alpha and use sorry, I need to check with the base color here. Okay. Gotcha. So A is black and B is white. So anything that goes into B is going to be cut out. No, yes, everything that goes into B is going to be cut out. So technically, if I connect my this lerp right here, you know, the main material without the stencils into A, like that, then it's going to do something like this. Great. And then RGB from this one connects into B, like that. Oh my god, yes. I thought that I'm gonna struggle with this because this was the only one which I wasn't sure about that much for this tutorial, but yay, it works, right? So we're basically done. We're done with the material. Yay, save it. Let's take a look at how it works. YouTube map. Hey, there it is. There's our little 0, 1 sign. Hell yeah. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. 0, 1 sign. Perfect. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy now. I'm happy. Okay, so now we need to create what's called material instances. So under materials, where we have element master, this is the master material with a lot of things like that you can change, like textures and how glossy things are and so on. For each element type, we need to create an instance from the element master, right? So this is basically like the a Grasshopper script, right? And we are now going to create different versions with sliders slightly kind of tailored for different elements of this main Grasshopper script. I think, yeah, this is fair, fair explanation of this. So I'm just gonna right click on the material itself, and I'll just create material instance, and I'll just call it element 0, 1, right? Like that. And then if I were to change this, if I were to double click on this material instance, then you can see that it doesn't open up this kind of Grasshopper view, rather it opens up a menu where we can change different things about this particular material instance. So let's say in this version, I want the base normal strength, I tick mark this, to be 2, to be more. Base roughness, I want it to be very glossy, right? Metal normal strength, I want it to be also very strong. Where is my metal? Metal, hello, metal? There it is. I want it to be very strong. Metal roughness, but I want it to be kind of rough here. Normal texture scale. So this is yeah, this is the texture scale for the normal. Wait. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah, okay, that is indeed correct, right? So I can change all of this, and this will not, this is just an instance that I'm changing. It's not going to affect my other objects, which is amazing. So I'm just gonna go back to the defaults in here, but I need to tick mark all of this so that I'm able to change all of these settings here. And for element 1, of course, I don't need to, so I'll just save this. But for, let's close that. And But for element 2, element 3, and so on, for all of those, I need to change those settings. So back here where I have element 0, 1, I'm just gonna Control C, Control V, and of course it renames it in a very weird way. Let's think of a way of how we can... Is it possible to do this, like element 2, and then if I copy this... Okay, so it needs to be element underscore number, right? And then it's gonna name it correctly. L underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 elements, including the element master. All right. So now I need to make some adjustments to every single one of these elements, except element, materials, except element 1. So for instance, element 2, right? Here I just need to choose the stencils to be 02 stencil, the alpha to be 02 alpha, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Then I save this, call it a day, right? Later, I will be able to make some adjustments as to the, especially according to texture scaling, but I'll show you how I treat all of the materials all at once. So don't start changing these one element at a time. So element 2 is done. And basically I just go through, basically I'll just go through all 14 of these. So I'll just select them, enter. They get all opened up. This one's done, that's fine. Element 3, I just do 03, 03. Save, close. Element 4, 04 alpha, 04 alpha, nope, not alpha, 04 stencil, save, close, and so on. Let me, pause the video because you don't need to see this. All right, we're back. So I've changed all 14 of them. It was actually like a minute or so to do, not that bad. So now we need to actually attach the materials to the objects. By the way, here you can see me changing the camera speed. It's quite useful to be able to do so. So to do that, you basically go through element blueprint. So I'm just gonna edit element blueprint. Go to, well, you can just go through here, 01, and just here you just choose element 1, 02, element 2, 03, element 3, and so on, right? So for this one, I will not be pausing the video because it's not gonna take as long. Seven, 8, 9, there we go. Okay. Whew, that's done. We compile, we save, we look at it, and it's all neat. Also, I forgot to change the color of the metal, so it's all gonna have like red metallic color, which I honestly ain't gonna lie, I kind of dig the style of it. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. But this is basically how it looks like right now. All of them have stencils. All of them have materials. All right. So now, in terms of the material scale, even though we're pretty close, I kind of want the material, the concrete to be smaller, the grain of the concrete to be smaller. So first of all, let's save this because this is a slightly more unstable way of doing it. So file, save all. Just wait for it. And then we can edit all materials at once with shift selecting them, right clicking, choosing asset actions and choosing to no. Okay, we can't do it this way. God damn it. Sure. But what we can do, fine, okay, sure. We can't do it this way for the materials. We will only be able to do it for the elements, but what we can do is we can change this in element master as the default tiling. So here, if I go back to element master, and here under texture scale, I just say that default value should not be 5, should be more, right? Should be. Wait, what did we actually use for element 1? Texture scale 5, we are using 5, okay. So in element master, under texture scale, where it says 5, no. Let's use 10. So default value is actually 10, not 5. And also while we're here, let's take a look at other default settings. This should be tiled more. So I will go back in here for normal texture scale. I'll say instead of 25, let's go for 50. Whatever. Right, so normal texture is 50, and I should say not normal, but metal texture scale is 50, while just base texture scale is 10. Save. It's gonna update for all. I think. Oh, we still need to reset. Gotcha. Okay, fine. We will do the reset. So unfortunately, we need to, or is there like a way of how to update it to asset locations, duplicate shader, cook statistics, size map? Nope. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up all of the elements like that, and I'll click on these two icons here, which basically update the values to their defaults, right? Here and here. Here and here. Just like that. Strange that we can't do this with like a bulk editor, but yeah, whatever. I'll just quickly do it this way. There we go. So all of these are done. I can now close them. Element master also can be closed. Back in here. Now the tiling is nice. I feel like that is, yeah, that the tiling seems to be good. All right, so not much more than that I want to do the material at this point. I feel like the material is okay. So we actually can move forward with our design. So next step is to actually create the final structure. And I did that with you already saw it in Nakagen Capsule Tower video. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's pretty nice. I feel like I spent a lot of time on it, basically. But this is the point cloud that I generated by just growing the structure along the sunlight, like with the sunlight, minimum sunlight parameters and whatnot. Just like in the one of the tutorials that I gave you. And basically it contains 23,000 points. And I spent like an hour or so just running the custom Martian cubes script, algorithm script that we did like at the start to actually create an Excel spreadsheet for this, right? And the Excel spreadsheet contains 32,000 elements. Naturally, of course, right? So we need to, of course, I can't show you the structure here because Rhino will not be able to showcase it, but hopefully Unreal Engine 5 will. So back here, under my stuff, here I have my CMC to Unreal Engine Excel spreadsheet, right? And right now it's it has been updated. If I show you here, it's like 1.2 megabytes. It has a lot of lines, right? So it has been updated to this point cloud. And all I need to do is just right click on it, re-import. Got re-imported. Go to my element blueprint here and change this from material testing to CMC to Unreal Engine Excel here and here. Then we compile. We pray that it doesn't crash because I'm recording. Save that. And there it is. Blip, blip. I forgot one thing to note. With the textures, where we have the textures here, all of the alpha channels, they don't need to be 4K resolution. And that is something that we need to optimize and fix. So holding down the Control key, I'm selecting only the alpha channels or alpha textures. I think I got all of them. I'm right clicking on the textures. I'm going to Asset Actions, Bulk Edit via Property Matrix, like that. And then under Texture here, I'm gonna say, where is it? Power of 2 mode here. I'm gonna just say pad to power of 2. This will force all of the textures to be either, I can see how it breaks everything, but this will force all of the textures to be most definitely 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 10, 24, 2048, and then 4096 pixels, right? So it's gonna be always power of 2. That's something that we need to change. And then for the compression here, I'm just gonna say maximum texture size. Basically, we're resizing all of the textures. That's what we're doing. Maximum texture size for this particular workflow. I don't really feel like we need to have them bigger than 512. So I'm just gonna have them like that, 512. Again, it's gonna calculate but then it should like the frame rate should improve, and also some errors about the memory should also be quite improved. So that's a small little addition to the tutorial. Oh, this gets me giddy every time. There it is. A big boy, isn't it? Let's go inside. There's a lot of fog. I will fix the fog part. Whee! But basically we have this whole environment grown. Oh man. And it's like a city in itself. Keep in mind, every single one of these elements is 10 meters. 10 cubic, not 10 cubic, but, or wait, 10 by 10 by 10, right? Yeah, 10 by 10 by 10 meters. So it's more than 10 cubic meters, it's 1,000 cubic meters. So these are big elements, and this is a big ass structure. Can we play? Hell yeah, we can. It's gonna take a while to run to it, so I'm just gonna where's my character player start? There we go. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, gotcha. So it's basically the player is created inside of one of the elements, so it just freaks out. Fair enough. Okay, let's try somewhere there and just press play from there. Nice. Okay. Pum, 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 pum. Like that. Somehow the bounciness looks weird. Wait. You, sir, need to move down slightly. So the location needs to be set to 0. Like that. And where's my player start? There it is. Okay, let's see here. Play. Camera, come on. There we go. Okay, that doesn't look that bad. This, wait, I'm floating. No, this is bad. So the collisions are wrong. We need to fix the collisions. Okay. So the way you actually now fix the collisions is very simple. You go to your elements, select all of the 14 elements, right-click them, choose Asset Actions, and choose to bulk edit via Property Matrix. This is, by the way, what I was searching for amongst the materials. So bulk edit via Property Matrix. And here we need to find, I think it's under static mesh. So many, oh my God. Light map resolution, no. Okay, let's do this differently. Let's just under search, let's just type in collisions. It's double L, COLL. And then here under collision complexity, there we go. We choose, instead of project default, use complex collision as simple. There we go. Just like that. We Control S to save this. It doesn't save. Don't know why. Doesn't matter. We close it. And we play again. And this time around, it should... This time around, I should fall through this hole right here. Yes, perfect. So you can see now the collisions are much, much better. Boop. Like that. Here we go. We have ourselves a pretty damn nice structure, don't we? It's a little bit too low, but that's fine. We'll fix it. And yeah, at this point, everything else that I'm gonna do is going to be like a optimization type of a thing, and it's gonna also be like stylistic preference. So for instance, the exponential height fog, I believe that it's a little bit too much, so to say. So I'm just gonna change the fog density to 0.01, and fog height fall off, I'll change it to 0.02, right? To just make it work nicer. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. To just make it work nicer with a structure this big. Then we still need to do Jesus Christ. We still need to do like the post-processing volume here, where we can control how fast the camera lights up, for instance. So I'm just going to create one under here, quickly add to the project. I'll choose visual effects post-process volume. There we go. This little box thing right here. And I'll just say, well, what do we change? What do we actually change? Perhaps we need to, well, okay, sorry. I know I'm all over the place because right now this is like me just thinking without practice, without any prior practice. First of all, like post-process volume, stuff that happens only happens inside of this volume. So we either need it to be very, very large, or you can say unbound. Type in here unbound while you have it selected, and here it's gonna say infinite extent. Perfect, we want that. So we tick mark that. That's gonna do it. Then for our kind of want the depth of field, I think. Yeah, I kind of want the depth of field, but I'm a little bit scared as to the performance, how hard it's gonna hit the performance. By the way, if you want to see the performance, in the bottom in the command line, you can type in unit FPS. I lied, units FPS. Hello? Well, that's weird. Oh, stat. Yeah, it's stat FPS. And here you can see that I'm running this at 60 frames per second, which is not ideal, but considering that I have like a lot of stuff opened up, actually, which I should start closing, it's actually not that bad. So let's just see how hard blur will hit my my performance. So here with this infinite now post-process volume, I can choose to do focal distance of whatever. Or do I not do the focal? Maybe I don't do the focal distance. I'm sorry. We just choose camera, and we just choose f-stop value for the camera, and we just tone it down, right? And then depth of field, focal distance. Yeah, there we go. So then it kind of does it. Whoa, was that 10,000? No, that was 0.1. This is when we are focusing on a very, very small small distance from our nose. So that is cross-eyed, basically. That's bad. Let's say we're constantly focusing at something that is further out. So like 10 meters. And this just gives us a little bit of a focal distance. If I want to make this more aggressive, oh, I can't. Okay. We don't do that. We don't do that. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's sorry, I got lost in thought. That is fine. Now if I press play here, you'll see that mostly nothing really changes, except that here. Wait, is our character a little bit blurry now? Seems to be. I don't like the I don't like the blur at all. Let's not do that. Let's disable those. It's too much. Too much. If you'll manage to make it look nice, then make it look nice. But for now, let's focus on the important things, such as the exposure. Right, the exposure is quite important. So under exposure here, we will choose metering mode, and I'll change this to instead of histogram, I'll use basic because I prefer to use basic. And for minimum, maximum brightness, speed up and speed down, we will make some adjustments. So let's say minimum brightness is 0.05. It just changing it will help me explain what it does. So when I increase this, it darkens the image, right? Because it lifts the minimum brightness value up. Maximum brightness, we actually we can keep it the way it is. We don't really care for it. And speed up and speed down, this is how when the eyes adjust to the brightness, how fast do they adjust to higher brightness and how fast do they adjust to low brightness. So I'm just gonna double this because I don't like waiting too long for the camera to catch up. And now if I press play, you can see that it just lights up much faster. And if I look to the outside, since we have the basic how's it called, like the basic brightness histogram thing, auto exposure, basic auto exposure, it's not going to, like, the very bright spots will not destroy our view here, which is nice. Okay, so we have that. Then for advanced, we don't care about advanced exposures. Then we just call it finished. What else? Let's take a look at chromatic aberration. We don't really care about that much. Dirt mask, no. Camera. There are things that you can change with the camera, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You can mess around with lens flares. Where are they? Here. You know, to create like this effect, but over time it just becomes very annoying. So you know, so don't I wouldn't suggest, or if you do it like 0.1 intensity, just even less, like 0.05 intensity lens flares. Those are fine, but anything more than that, and it's too much. Image effects, vignette. You can always add a vignette. Vignette is basically the darkening of the edges of the screen. I would say the default value of 0.4 seems to be okay. Oh, it's already like doing that, so we don't really need to add anything there. Color grading, if you want to. Temperature, you can change the temperature of the colors if you want to. Right? Don't do those things right now. Work on them last. Because if you change, basically if you change too many things, then it's gonna be very hard for you to figure out what went wrong, right? I'm just thinking. Last few things are, if lumen is too much, if lumen becomes too intense, lumen is, by the way, the bounces of the light and so on. Right now, for some reason it jumps all over the place, but let's just say it's very, very sluggish. Then for the process volume, you could type in lumen, and here for the lumen global illumination, you could say like the lighting quality, that it should be less, right? Or lumen seen view distance should be less. And I can show you how that works. So if here I change the lumen seen view distance to not 1, but let's say 0. Not 0. But like 1,000. You can see some shimmering happening there. Let's just change, reduce everything here. See, when I reduce the lighting quality, my FPS, it does indeed jump up, but also there's the shimmering that happens, right? So you always need to, especially for final gather quality, you always need to find the value where it's not lagging, but also it's not shimmering too much. If I were to say final gather quality is 4, and scene lighting quality is 4, and the view distance is actually very high, then suddenly I'm dropping down to like 50 frames per second, which is not ideal, right? So play around with these values, drop them down if it's lagging too much for you. For me, seems to be okay, so I'm just gonna keep them as a default. Right. So that's actually it about the post-process volume. I don't really want to change much about it. I feel like it's good the way the way it is. One last thing, I think, before we end here, is gonna be the character movement. I feel like the character movement needs to be fixed, because right now if I press play here and I want to climb this structure, it's going to be very difficult for me to do so. Never mind, it's actually not a problem at all, kinda. Did we already fix the character movement? Feels like we already fixed the character movement in the previous tutorial. But just as a refresher, what we did was under third person, is it blueprints? Yes, under our character blueprint, under character movement here on the left hand side, we found the slope angle, walkable floor angle, and we changed it to 61 degrees. And now our character is able to move up this structure. Hell yeah. All right. What else? I think I will do, okay, let's do it this way. I will do one extra video as a bonus, as a bonus video. So the next one is going to be an extra video where I'm going to show how to make this into a real game, how I would add the landscape, and how I would add like I don't know, like some quality of life improvements to this. But said that, I believe that we are done with this set of tutorials. We have ourselves a concrete megastructure. Shout out to Tsutomu Nihei. We have a concrete megastructure through which we can walk in real time. And let me just increase the camera speed so that I can zoom around faster. So through which we can walk in real time, which we can evaluate and zoom in the clouds and just see this mega thing just happen. By the way, if this happens in the top layers, you just need to either restart, I almost said Rhino, Unreal Engine, or there's a light mass importance volume that you need to slap on here. I can show you real quick. So here, create new object. I believe it's under volumes, light mass importance volume. There we go. Bam. Where is it? There it is. And this one does indeed need to be scaled up. So I'm just gonna write 50,000. That is too much. That is way too much. So 10,000, 5,000, 1,000. Still too much. 100. 100 was too little. 500. There we go. Something close to that. So it's gonna be. So it's gonna be 500 by 500 by 500. Zoom back. Oh, that even culls all of my elements from the view. Zoom back. Here, let's just change this to left view, like that. Make this smaller. I should probably not use the scale. I should just use the size, but hey, already did the scale thing, so might as well stick to it. 300. What? 300 here. Yeah, there we go. 300, even less, 250. 250 seems to be okay. So we do that. Then for the right hand side, no, for the front view, front. Also 250, please. 230. Yep, that seems good. And then we just jump back to perspective view. So now I believe this should work. It's a bit better. Still a bit kind of foggy, a foggy boy. The camera speed is too much. So if it's still kind of messing up there, you can just go to your exponential height fog and increase the fall off, I guess. Yeah, something like that. And that's just gonna fix it. So just yeah, play around with the settings until you're happy with them, and yeah, I'll stick to 0, something like that. Play. All right. Oh. That is that. We're done. We are done here. Thank you everyone for watching. If you stuck around until the end, thanks. Again, one more video planned of this, like the bonus video. But yeah, I feel like this is pretty successful. See you in the next one. Later.